Hey guys, it's Jaden. Charmed is back, and I kind of want to talk about it because I'm a really big fan of like the OG Charmed. It's something like I grew up watching. I really loved, my Alyssa Milano, Holly Marie Combs, Shannon Doherty, Rose McGowan, and I loved all of them for what they brought to the table, and I thought it was cool. Now with this new one, a lot of the controversy and the reason why a lot of people are kind of like iffy about it is because in terms of marketing the series, CW has kind of gone this route of saying, well, it's this ultra feminine flirty show with a twist or whatever, like something like that. I'll figure out exactly what they said and just put it right there. Yeah, that kind of came off very tone deaf because it's like saying that the original Charm wasn't as feminist or woman or pro woman as this one is, which watching it, well, we'll get to that in a second. I will say, if there's one thing that the OG Charm didn't really hit on, was the fact that, in terms of representation, there really weren't that many minorities that were throughout the entire show. But, that's my little tidbit about that, which I can say about this one is not really a big issue, because it's everybody. As a whole, the episode, I think the episode was really good. I think it was a good pilot. I think that the fact of it premiering like 20 years and like a week after the original Charmed premiered is pretty cool. I'm actually really haven't really processed my feeling. I think I actually do like it. I think there's something missing right now, and I think that's because I don't think they've hit that stride yet of where they know exactly what this is going to sit there and be. Because it's not that it was a hot mess. It's a different era of television. It's a different network. It's a different type of television show. It's basically like trying to bring In Living Color to 2018. And if you've seen In Living Color, just some things don't really work, so you have to switch a couple things out. And until they figure out what they need to switch out, cool. Either way, I think the show is going to probably get great. I did come up with at least 5 things that I'm just like, okay, I see where we're going with this. So, number 5. We're no longer in San Francisco. We're now in this mysteriously, generic suburb called Hilltown. We still got the house, so that's cool. But we're basically now like a Sunnydale, Mystic Falls, a Beacon Hills, I don't know, a Stars Hollow. So we're back to generic towns. I think that this would be a different show if it was centered somewhere else. It would be so funny if this was centered in Atlanta or in New York or something like that, but I think production cost is just way too high. Or even Vancouver. I don't know. I think that that's just an interesting stance in itself. But I'm gonna miss, some wonderful, time lapses of a bridge and some sunlight and some random buildings with clocks on them. Don't think we're getting back to that anytime soon. Number 4. This show is very, very 2018 feminism. When I say that, I mean it's very current for what it's dealing with. You're talking about Time's Up. You even mentioned, presidents. They mentioned a lot. And which, that's not a bad thing to say anything. I think that, if anything, that's probably the most admirable thing about it is that, they said they were going to go with this very heavily feminist take, which is something that Charmed, I will say for a fact, did not do in terms of this overt. Charmed kind of addressed issues from the patriarch as general things. They did a whole episode about breastfeeding, and it wasn't a whole episode, but it kind of had to do with a woman's body and her right in the workplace and stuff like that. It was just a lot of in general concepts that have been talked about for years, but right now we're actually talking about very current, Time's Up type of situations, and it's oh, not that I didn't see this coming, but oh, okay, all right, go ahead, go off. Number 3, science. Like I said, very 2018 show. Science for the win. You cannot beat science. You really can't beat science. It's, also the fact that the simplest of things oh, baking soda. That'll take the demon out. You know what? Go ahead. You know what? I was expecting a nice potion with random stuff, but you know what? All right, we can go with some science. I'm here for some science. Then we have number 2. These visual effects, okay, you know, they got a whole makeup department. I feel like since Charm went off the air, we've had dramatic, like, great works, and we've had these great strides in like makeup and technology and like effects, and wow, I will say the effects are looking mighty clean. But along the ride of effects, where's my orbing? You know, I understand we're in a new series. I was giving a lot up. I personally, like, if there's one thing that I was like, I don't really care as long as my orbing is in there. Orbing is gone. My white lighter does not have orbing. And if you don't know what orbing is, well...
Leo?
I don't know what's happened. I don't know who thought that was a good decision. I guess they're trying to distance themselves, but I mean, like, you basically have all of their properties. I mean, a particle illusion doesn't really hurt that much. I mean, granted, I know I don't want to sit here, you know, doing particle illusions, but after a while, it just kind of gets simple. And they said it themselves, like, oh, they made a whole joke about...
Just call my name, and I'll magically appear. I just wanted to show you the effect. They prefer I get around like a regular person now, to blend in.
I thought this was actually so funny, but at the same time, where's my orbing? Just gonna say. Number 1, we already know our big bad for the entire season. It's going to be the source of all evil. They're basically doing a nice season 1. And I'm actually very excited about this. I will say, this is going to be a mixture of... It's like a mixture of all the good things from the earlier seasons to the later seasons. For me, as long as, you know, I see more black people, I personally don't care. But I will say, like, as a whole, I think this has been so good so far. I do like the aspects of combining basically Prue and Paige into one character. We have 3 wonderful actresses playing the sisters, which I'm actually kind of excited. You can actually see their bond being shown. We have Mel, we have Maggie, and we have Macy. Mel's being played by Melanie Diaz. She was in the first Purge and a bunch of other things, but I'm happy, like, this is, like, I feel like, I don't want to say her big break, because I don't want to say that's her big break, but I will say, like, this is her, like, one of her big, like, serialized television shows, which is actually really cool for her. And then we have, playing Maggie, we have Sarah Jeffries, who was playing Jennifer Lopez's daughter on Shades of Blue, and which I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then we have Madeline Mantock playing Macy, you know, who's a British actress. She's Afro-Caribbean. I'm happy she's got her a nice show. I'm happy she's on a show where she's gonna stay for a while. Like, she'll have no reason to leave, because Into the Badlands, she was on Tomorrow People, and she did some great work on both of those shows. But for Tomorrow People, it's like, you had so much... That was not your fault. That was the fact that this is before, like, Netflix was just buying up shows and keeping them going for season 2s. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just happy that she has a show. So, like, as a whole, I think that this is going to be a really good experience. I think the first episode was a great, like, pilot for understanding things. I do think there was a little bit of overacting, but it's going to get great. And I'm so excited. So, I'll be watching. I'm going to keep on watching. So, catch me next week, hopefully. Well, I mean, that's pretty much it for today's video. I really want to do more of these videos, so we'll see. I don't know. But, all right, that's pretty much it. See y'all next time.